Is SNKRDunk legit? And is it a good place to buy from? Well, today we'll try and answer those questions. Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to another video. SNKRDunk, SNKRDunk, SNKRDunk. We hear a lot about this company these days, especially since the 151 reprint. I think before this, a lot of people didn't even know about SNKRDunk. But since then, many have used their services. However, there is still a lot of misinformation online of people not really knowing what SNKRDunk does and doesn't do. What kind of company it is in the first place. And so today we'll try and answer those questions, do a bit of a deep dive into SNKRDunk. First and foremost, I'm not affiliated with SNKRDunk. I'm just trying to make this video to educate people, but I have used their services here and there, as you can obviously see from what's on the screen right in front of you. So what is this company? Well, SNKRDunk is a middleman service type of company. They authenticate product. Raw cards, graded cards, seal product, but they also do, well, clothing, sneakers, obviously. I mean, it's in the name. That's what they did first before they got into trading cards. Think of SNKRDunk like the eBay authenticity guarantee. You have a seller on one end, a buyer on the other end. The buyer buys something, the seller ships it to SNKRDunk. SNKRDunk inspects it. If it checks out, they ship it to the buyer. That's what SNKRDunk does. That's the first thing I want to point out, because there are some people online who think SNKRDunk sells product themselves. They do not. It's all private sellers listing product just like they would on eBay or any other type of marketplace. If SNKRDunk deems the booster box or the shrink wrap to be authentic, they will put that little sticker on it, ship it to you with an authentication card. Now the sticker, I don't like it. I think it's pretty ugly. I hate that it's on the front of the booster box. The good news is you can remove it quite easily. It's no problem at all to remove it. If you don't like it, you can just, peel it off. The sticker does work. Once you peel it off, it creates like a little text. The text shows up that says like void or open, or maybe both words, and you cannot reattach it somewhere else. Like once the sticker is gone, it's destroyed, which is a great thing. The sticker works. Now the authentication card, it doesn't really do anything, let's be honest. And I think if you buy multiple boxes, you also only get one of these. So like this doesn't really do anything. It's whatever. I mean, they send it to you. That's great. It's nice and all, but what ifs. The sticker is the important part, and it does work. You cannot remove it and put it somewhere else. So if you see a booster box with a SNKRDunk sticker on it, you can be certain that it has been inspected by SNKRDunk. A lot of people just remove the sticker right away. To me, this is like part of my collection, this box. I can remove it later if I want to. For now, it's just whatever. I'm not too bothered by it. So what does SNKRDunk do to inspect the shrink wrap? I think that's what everyone is here. That's what everyone wants to know. Well, I did some digging. There are articles on their English website, and there is one article on the Japanese website that is quite detailed. It's kind of like an interview. And I'll throw up some screenshots, and I'll mention other things in this video, like other videos I'll reference, and everything is linked down below. According to their article on the Japanese website, the first thing they do is, well, they have a look at the shrink wrap. Makes sense. Does it look legit? The second thing they do is they go by feel, touch. Does it feel like an authentic shrink wrap? The issue with the look and the feel is that apparently, according to Japanese YouTube, these days, reseal boxes, first of all, look pretty damn legit, and they feel legit too. Apparently, legit feeling, legit looking, and legit feeling shrink wrap can just be bought for cheap on Amazon Japan, which is of course a massive issue. A little side note here, by the way, traditional Chinese booster boxes, which are also printed in Japan, have a Pokeball logo on the shrink wrap, but Japanese boxes don't. Why? Pokemon Company, come on, give it to us. We want it. It is extremely difficult to identify a resale booster box if it's done well, and if they used the proper or legit feeling plastic. I do not think SNKRDunk can be 100% sure. Think about it. Someone like TCA Gaming, Rusty, one of the most knowledgeable people in this hobby, he does not authenticate vintage WotC era sealed boxes anymore unless he gets to open the box to look at the packs inside. And modern Japanese booster boxes are infinitely easier to reseal than WotC boxes. Let's be honest here. So just by looking at the shrink wrap and by touching it, I don't think you can be 100% certain. There's also the issue of inconsistency. Shrink wrap isn't consistent. This stuff is all mass produced. Yes, usually like the seam is on the same side and stuff like that, but just looking at the seam, this stuff is so inconsistent. I'll show you some examples of how inconsistent this all is. All right, so here we have a Pokemon Go booster box. Now, I bought this one on Pokemon Center Online, which is why it has this sticker on it. And you can see the shrink wrap is like super loose. This is a booster box I also got from the Pokemon Center Online, but it is from the lottery, which is why it doesn't have the sticker. And you can see the shrink wrap is like really tight. It barely moves when I move my thumb across it. It's just, you know, completely different type of shrink wrap on it. Two different sets, but still, like, no consistency, right? And then on top of that, if you look at this, for example, this Ancient Roar booster box, sometimes the seam is also like really ugly. Like this looks so messy, but again, Pokemon Center Online purchase, you can see the sticker. It just looks so ugly, so messy, but this is 100% legit. There is no consistency. And that is a big issue, because at the end of the day, like I said, it's all mass produced. I will say, the employees at SNKRDunk probably handle more booster boxes per day than most of us do in an entire year. I'm sure there are people watching this video who handle more than that. But I think most people watching this video, including myself, you know, we handle less booster boxes in a year than they do in a day. So I'd imagine they have a pretty good idea of what it should look like or what it should feel like. And I'd imagine they would catch obvious fakes pretty easily. You know, what are some other things they can look for? Well, you know, booster boxes have little ventilation holes. So you can see, I'll try and get them to show. Yeah, there you go. There's one. There's another one. Sometimes they're bigger. Sometimes they're a little smaller. They can be in like a straight line, but they can also kind of be like, there's another one. They can also be like kind of all over the place. Booster boxes have these little holes. They need them for the air to escape when the shrink wrap is sealed around the booster box. I'd imagine if you put the shrink wrap around it, you heat it up, it shrinks. If there are no holes, the air can't escape, and you're essentially creating a little balloon. So you can look for those holes. I'm sure SNKRDunk looks for them, but those holes can obviously still be fake. But anyways, moving on. Well, another thing they do, according to the Japanese website, and this is interesting because this is not on the English website. It's only in the Japanese like interview article. They have a way to analyze the chemical composition of the shrink wrap. They showed a screenshot of this little like a line graph, and you know, they say they don't want to show too much because they don't want to give away their trade secret, I guess. They say, if I remember correctly, that they do this with every box. Can they? Logistics? Do they have enough time to do this with every box? But that's something they say they can do. But even there, you know, who's to say that this, you know, reseal shrink wrap that's being bought on Amazon isn't the same type that, you know, as the one that's used by Pokemon? Nobody knows. But that's another thing that they do, apparently. Now, the last thing that SNKRDunk does, and this is something that they're very proud of, they like to show it, is they have an X-ray machine. And with an X-ray machine, obviously, you can look inside the booster box. Here's what gets complicated again, though. On the English article, they say that they use it to inspect every box. Let me find the quote. To quote SNKRDunk about the X-ray machine, this sophisticated procedure provides assurance that the contents of each box have not been removed. Each box, they say. Well, it's different from what they say on the Japanese site. On a Japanese article, and I'm using Google Translate here, if multiple appraisers check it and determine it to be suspicious, it will be examined using X-rays. So if multiple appraisers don't deem it to be suspicious, it's never going to see the X-ray machine. So the English article is a bit misleading. Now, the good thing about the X-ray machine is that obviously if there were choose boxes inside the booster box, the X-ray machine would easily catch that. However, if, let's say, someone resealed this booster box and they replaced the heavy packs, the hit packs, with light 151 packs, well, it's the original packs, it's just light ones. The X-ray machine isn't going to show that there is no secret rare or no master ball in here. And so that's one thing the X-ray machine can't do. Now, what I found interesting is that looking at the picture they showed of an X-ray, you can see like these little oval shapes there on the sides. And this is obviously where the side kind of flaps have been glued to close the booster box. And if, you know, a booster box is real these days, again, it's open from the side, pack switched out and then re-glued. So the X-ray machine might catch extra glue there. They might be able to see that, but I don't know. But probably something they would look for, I'd imagine. The other thing about the X-ray machine is that, again, logistics. They simply don't have enough time to put every booster box through the X-ray machine. The amount of stuff that's been selling on SNKRDunk recently is mind-blowing. And I'll link a video down below of GQ Japan, of all places. GQ, apparently. They toured the SNKRDunk warehouse. So you can look at, you can have a look at yourself. What does it all look like? What do the inspection stations look like? What is their whole process like? And they show the X-ray machine there as well. And they have one X-ray machine. And the amount of booster boxes that sell through SNKRDunk, it's crazy. And of course, they also need to use the X-ray machine for the sneakers. So they just do not have enough time to X-ray everything. And I've bought from SNKRDunk here and there. Again, you can see it right here. They're pretty quick. Like, something arrives at their warehouse in the morning, it's usually shipped to you in the afternoon. It's pretty fast, and considering how much is selling on there, I'd say very, very few booster boxes ever see the X-ray machine. I think it makes more sense for like something like an EV Heroes gym box. First of all, it's more expensive, but also it has a promo inside, and the X-ray would probably show whether or not the promo has been removed. And I'd imagine that a scammer who reseals booster boxes, puts fake ones in there, reseal ones in there, I'd imagine they would remove the promo because the promo is quite valuable. So it makes more sense there. I don't know, but it's nice that they have it, but it's more just for show, in my opinion. But it's good that they have it. SNKRDunk also doesn't guarantee you get like a super clean booster box. They have their standards, but I'll throw up screenshots, and the original article, original site is linked down below. You can get some pretty beat up boxes through SNKRDunk, boxes that have damage that they still deem okay. So if you're looking for a clean box, you're just kind of gambling. Obviously with ultra modern boxes, you probably don't have to worry as much about that, but still just something to keep in mind. Alrighty, I've just gone through a lot of sort of questionable things about the SNKRDunk authentication process. What's good about it? Like I mentioned, first, they handle a lot of stuff every day. They kind of know what to look for, I'd imagine. But the most important thing, in my opinion, that SNKRDunk does, and it has nothing to do, directly at least, with their authentication system, but it's indirectly related to that, is that their service, their authentication service, acts as a deterrent. If you put yourself into the shoes of a scammer, a resealer, and you have all these options to choose from on where to sell, Medicuddy, Yahoo, Rakuten, Amazon Japan, Facebook, Instagram, eBay, SNKRDunk, why of all places would you choose SNKRDunk to sell on if you know that your resealed booster box will be inspected by someone? Even if you think they probably couldn't figure out that you resealed it, even if you're very confident in your resealing ability as a scammer, why would you take the risk? Why take the risk when you can sell on these other platforms and most likely get away with it? And so their service as a deterrent is probably the most important thing that they do. And I believe that's more significant than their experience of looking at booster boxes, feeling booster boxes, their analysis of chemical compositions, and their X-ray machine that they show in their videos. I think their service as a deterrent is the most significant thing that they do. Well, have resealed booster boxes been sold on SNKRDunk? I went digging. I searched in English. I searched in Japanese as recently as yesterday. And I was only able to find one video in Japanese. Now, if you know of an article somewhere or a video that I couldn't find, please let me know. I would love to see it. I couldn't find anything except for that one video, but that one video in Japanese, again, linked down in the description, I think it was staged. The reaction of the two guys getting the reseal box, their reaction seemed pretty authentic, gotta give it to them, but the reseal was so bad. It didn't have shrink wrap, it had like kitchen cellophane wrap. The tear strip had been removed, and it was closed with like just a regular piece of plastic clear tape. There were no packs inside, just loose cards. It was the poorest, most awful reshrink reseal I've ever seen in my life. And conveniently in their video, they had removed the SNKRDunk sticker before they started making the video. I think a 5-year-old could have identified that box as resealed. There's no shot in the world that passed any sort of authentication. I think it was a staged video. They seem pretty authentic, and their replies in the comments say that it's all real, but I don't believe it, honestly. So I couldn't really find anything. I checked Twitter even. I couldn't find anything on Twitter. Please let me know. But also, I wouldn't be surprised if resale stuff has been installed on SNKRDunk, because ultimately, most people don't make videos. And once you get into older booster boxes, it gets even more complicated, because with older booster boxes, the person selling on SNKRDunk might not even know that they have a resealed booster box. That's a common issue with like vintage Magic, vintage Pokemon. The owner doesn't even know they have something that's fake or resealed. I mentioned SNKRDunk is good as a deterrent to scammers, but someone who's completely legit, not a scammer at all, but has something they bought somewhere else a long time ago that is resealed, they might sell it on SNKRDunk. We'd hope that SNKRDunk would catch it, of course, but I'm sure stuff comes up at their warehouse here and there that doesn't check out, and I would imagine with how much goes through there every day, some resale boxes must have made their way through SNKRDunk. I mean, it's inevitable in my opinion. What happens if you do get a resale booster box? Well, SNKRDunk has a return window, but it's 7 days. So if you don't return the product or open a complaint, a return request within 7 days, you're screwed, right? You buy that booster box in SNKRDunk, you put it in your closet for 5 years, you open it up or something, and it's resealed, there's nothing you can do about it. It's not, you're just screwed. SNKRDunk doesn't cover anything if you sell this a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now. If you sell this to someone else and it's resealed, SNKRDunk is not going to do anything, even though their sticker might be on the box. Is SNKRDunk a good place to buy from? Well, that's a difficult question because it depends on your risk tolerance and kind of your price goal, so to say. The risk on SNKRDunk is not completely removed, as I've explained in this video, why I think that's the case. But SNKRDunk does have pretty damn good prices. You might find something cheaper on Mercari, but then the risk goes up a lot. Amazon Japan is tricky. It's kind of like in the middle a little bit. It's hard to say. I'll shout out Pokémon for TCG. I love his videos. He made a video the other day of like buying from Amazon Japan and what to look for to get like legit boxes on Amazon Japan, because there are a lot of scammers on Amazon Japan, but there are also a lot of legit sellers on there. So I'll link his video down below as well. When we're talking about secondary, kind of online marketplaces, I think SNKRDunk is one of the better places to buy it from. If you're buying 1 or 2 boxes, it does not make sense in my opinion, because the inspection fee and then the international shipping fee, it's just too much. It gets too expensive. And these days there are great deals outside of Japan, US, Canada, Europe, wherever. Domestic sellers have pretty competitive prices, and you'd be surprised, but people with TikTok deals often get stuff cheaper than in Japan. It's kind of crazy. So if you only want to pick up a box or 2, just go the domestic route with a trusted seller. If you want to buy a lot, cases, or 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 cases, whatever, not 50 cases, but boxes where, those $5 differences here and there really add up, then I think, yes, SNKRDunk can be an option as long as you are aware of the existing risks that are still there, that are, in my opinion, fairly small, but they're still there. Just a side note, you can buy cases on SNKRDunk because they need to open the cases to inspect the boxes, obviously. So you're not getting sealed cases on there, but yeah. If you were to buy on SNKRDunk, there's one little thing I would recommend. The sellers are all anonymous, but you can look for identity verified sellers. A lot of people don't verify their identity. It doesn't mean that they are a scammer, but like I said earlier, if we put ourselves into the shoes of a scammer, if they do decide to sell on SNKRDunk, why would they take an even greater risk and give SNKRDunk their identity, their picture, their name, and their address? And so by buying from someone who has verified their identity, I think you can reduce that risk just a little bit more. And so when I buy stuff on SNKRDunk, which I don't do very often, I buy here and there, but whenever I buy something on SNKRDunk, I might not buy the cheapest listing. I go in to the actual product. If I want to buy a box, I click on one box and I scroll down until I see someone who has had their identity verified. You can also see how much someone has sold, right? So I'm not buying from someone who doesn't have their identity verified and is selling their first product. Doesn't mean that they're a scammer, but it's just not someone I'm going to buy from. So I think it makes sense to pay sometimes $1 more per booster box to just get one of those sellers that gave SNKRDunk their identity. But that's about it. I buy there here and there, but I always try to reduce my risks. I like the SNKRDunk prices a lot, but sometimes I'll pay a little bit more to get something somewhere else. That's really it, ultimately. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope this was educational. I know it was a long video, but there was a lot to talk about. I hope I didn't forget anything. Link to everything I talked about down below in the description. Feel free to check it out. Let me know in the comments, have you bought from SNKRDunk? What has your experience been like? And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I can't wait to read your comments. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you very much for that. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.